Hi, I'm Frani Rollins, and this is free video editing software, a little demo. Most of the video editing software that you get on your computer works very similarly to this, but I personally love Camtasia. So I'm going to share my screen and walk you through this video editing software, how it works. And hopefully if you like it, you can try it out yourself. Or again, a lot of the video editing software that comes on your computer functions in the same way. So let's take a peek. If you go to techsmith.com or if you Google Camtasia, you can go and you can download a free trial and give it a try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a blank screen. And again, most of your free video editing software looks very similar. You have your video space, you have some of the tools here, and then some of the things will populate over here in terms of some of the effects that you can do with some of the content that you have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some delightful Halloween content. And the first thing I have over here is I have a Monster Boogie video. So I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drop it down here into this track. And what you can see is you can see the length of the video. And you can see it's about a little short of 2 minutes. And you can also see these little white lines up here. And this is the audio. So you can actually follow kind of the amplitude of the volume. Just so you can kind of see what this video is about a little bit. I'm just going to play a little bit. And so again, kind of in this playing area, you can see the video that I just dropped in. I know, it's delightful. It's great. They're going to boogie for you. Okay, so that's the video that I just dropped in there. There are a couple of things that I can do with this up here in this kind of in my toolbar here. The first thing I can do is if I'm actually looking at my video, what I can do is build a transition in. So let's say I want the video to rotate in or rotate out. You can see that preview up here. So I can just grab this, drop this into the bottom, and I can stretch this to be a longer or a shorter spin. And I'll show you guys what this looks like when we rotate in and out. So here's the video rotating in, and it plays as you'd like it to. And again, if I stretch this out a little bit further, and the same thing with all of these effects, you'll notice that it changes that video with the effect that I've applied to it. And you'll see if the video is actually even starting while rotating. So that is one of the things that you can do. And again, there are these options in terms of those transitions. There are other things that you can do within the video itself. So if you want to do things like change the color, mask, you can actually include glowing. And so you can kind of see how you can make a video glow. So there are some other things, again, a lot of just drag and drop and play. So let's say this is part of my video, but I don't like it, or kind of once we get to this part in the video, I go, I don't want to see the rest of this dancing. What's great about this is that you can actually just kind of highlight. So I just pressed Shift and I'm highlighting. And if I press Delete, I can just delete part of that video. Obviously, I can always undo with Command Z on a Mac. But so cutting and pasting any of your video is wonderful. Now, what you might want to do is you might want to add something into your video or subtract something into your video. So let's say you have, and again, this doesn't make sense in this video, but let's say in your book, you have some car horns or you've got some birds and you wanted to throw some of that audio in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this car horn MP4, this audio track, and I'm going to drop it into the track below my video. And I'm just going to shorten, actually, I'm just going to remove that revolve. So what you can see here is my video, which has my monsters boogieing, and you'll see my car horns here. And you'll just see that now the video will play and we'll also hear the car horns on top of that. So let's see some boogie and some car horns. Ridiculous, I know, but that's how we do video and we do audio, and we can have those overlap. Now, if I click on the audio file here, I can click on the settings tab over here, and there are a couple of options that I have here. I can change the volume. I can make it much louder. I can make it much more quieter. And if you look down here, kind of in that car horn sound file, you'll notice you can actually see the amplitude, right? The intensity of that sound raising and lowering within that file. I can also mute something completely. So let's say in that video file, I don't want any of the audio that's there. I can actually mute it. And here I won't hear any of the audio. I'll just hear the car horns. So those are some ways to play with some video and with some audio. And you'll notice a lot of it is just drag and drop. One of the wonderful things about the free video editing software, especially with Camtasia, is that since it is so easy and so user-friendly, you can mess with it and you figure it out pretty quickly. If you're nervous about it, something that I started doing when I first started working with some video editing is I would save very often. And so I might save, and this is just a quick little suggestion, but I might save this as monster. And then if I know I'm going to do this a couple of times during the day, I might look at the time. And so if it's 12 o'clock, I might say monster, I might record this as monster 12. And that way, when I'm looking at the different files on my computer, I can see that one was done at 12. I saved this one at 1. I saved that one at 4. And then if there is one that I like for the day, I will actually save it and then the actual date in that file name. So I always know that's the one that I want for each day. Hopefully looking at this program, some of those tips and tricks and allowing you just to play will allow you to make some great edits in your video.